In 2014, I made a documentary about this place right here, Millerton Lake and the Friant Dam, and I focused my attention on the Central Valley and water allocation and what that meant for the wildlife and for agriculture. In my case study, I focused on the Delta smelt and what places like Friant Dam do for the fish here. In 6 years, not much has changed, but the one thing that remains still is that it's our responsibility to advocate for environmental rights.
In 1917, J.C. Faulkner began farming in the Central Valley. The Central Valley is classified as a desert with an annual average rainfall of 11.5 inches. Since that time, population and agriculture have both grown beyond the amount of water that is naturally provided.
Way back when, Congress actually created the Central Valley Water Project, which created all these diversions for the water, canals, made it available for the development of the agriculture in the Central Valley. Long time ago that occurred. And back then, there was plenty of water and there wasn't much agriculture and there weren't many cities, and so there was plenty of water for everything.
The increasing population in California is always affecting the drought. There's no way around that.
Agriculture, in many respects, kind of living on the edge here in the Central Valley because it relies on importing water from essentially the Sierra Nevada. 500
years ago, 200 years ago, even 100 years ago, water flowed downhill, and that was a given. It snowed in the mountains, the water went to the ocean. But in the last 100 years, in California in particular, and the western United States in general, water flows towards money.
You know, there's lots of demands for water, and we don't have much of it. There's competition among those demands, like cities, agriculture, and natural resources.
Engineers and construction workers completed the Friant Dam in 1942. The California Aqueduct was built in 2 phases, being completed in 1913 and 1970. This made it possible for more people and farmers to call the Central Valley home. As a result, there is a great amount of competition for the available water resources between agriculture, population, and the needs of wildlife. This problem is compounded by the current drought.
In the early 70s, the Endangered Species Act was enacted by Congress, and that required that federal agencies and private people can't do anything that will cause species that are either threatened or endangered, listed as threatened or endangered, to possibly become extinct. And so one of those species is the Delta smelt.
We've taken one of the most common organisms in the Delta and pushed it to the brink of extinction. Is a red flag for everything else. And to protect the Delta smelt is to not just protect a little insignificant fish, but the birds and the animals and the mammals. Everything depends upon having a healthy Delta. And the Delta is not healthy anymore. You know, with the reverse flows, the lack of water going to it. In protecting the Delta smelt, we protect the whole Delta, which in effect protects the water source for most of the people in California.
What's happened more recently with population growth and agricultural growth, and in particular our recent drought, is that there's more demands for water and less water. And oftentimes the water actually getting to the Delta smelt habitat could potentially be cut off. In other words, there wouldn't be enough to feed the cities and to the water to the cities, and then also to agriculture, and have enough to still flow out into the bay and provide the habitat for the Delta smelt.
With the booming population, agriculture, and also the water requirements for wildlife, this problem seems difficult to solve, especially in drought conditions. The solution can be found in the millions of Californians making small changes in their daily lives.
Protect the Delta is going to take a combination of a lot of factors. It's going to take a lot of technology, perhaps the peripheral canal or the Delta bypass tunnels are talking about, but mostly it's going to take a change in the attitudes of the people of California. We have millions of people in California, and a small change times millions ends up being a big change, because every big issue has been made one small step at a time. And if we make enough of those small steps, we can make it through this drought, and we can preserve the environment and our business and our agriculture and our way of life forever. At that point, maybe we can make a difference, and we can save agriculture, we can save the pure water source for most of California, and we can save the environment at the same time.